Now you may be saying, a story about straws. Why would I care about straws? In fact, this video will not entirely be about straws, but about the knee-jerk response we often see from people when some problem occurs, and how, for the most part, I think it tends to be people on the left. Now here it comes, the left saying, Tim's criticizing the left. Well, of course. If the left stopped having knee-jerk reactions, we might actually solve some problems. At least the problems I care about. The really simple way to put this is, I want to solve environmental issues. The left has a knee-jerk reaction making things worse. Maybe that's not the right thing to do, and of course I'll criticize you when you're affecting things that I care about, like the environment. For those that don't know, I worked for, I think, 3, maybe even 4 environmental nonprofits. I say maybe 4 because it's been a long time, and one of them may or may not have technically been environmental, but yes, I was working for nonprofits specifically on environmental issues. So here's the story. McDonald's new paper straws aren't recyclable, but its axed plastic ones were. Isn't that the... You see what you've done here? Let me explain something to all of you. When you want to recycle something, it can't have food contamination. Plastic straws can be cleaned and recycled. Paper ones can't. When they're contaminated with food, they have to go in the trash. So what happened? Everybody started complaining about plastic straws, and for good reason. There's a lot of pollution from plastic straws. And then they started implementing these really awful paper straws, which, to me, these paper straws are nails on a chalkboard. I could put them in my mouth, just like, it's just really, I can't even think about it. God, it gives me that weird, it's like scratching styrofoam, or just like, I don't know, man, that really awful feeling you get. So this is a good story about how good intentions backfired. McDonald's has reportedly admitted that its new paper straws rolled out last year to help protect the environment can't be recycled, unlike the plastic versions they replaced. The straws were introduced to all 1,361 McDonald's restaurants in the United Kingdom and Ireland after a trial last year, so it's about the UK, I guess. But the fast food giant acknowledged on Monday that the new versions are too thick to be processed by its recyclers. While the materials are recyclable, their current thickness makes it difficult for them to be processed by our waste solution providers, who also help us recycle our paper cups. They say, the issue was first revealed by the Sun newspaper, which published an internal McDonald's memo saying that the company's paper straws are not yet recyclable and should be disposed of in general waste until further notice. A knee-jerk reaction, which has made everything worse. Now you're taking paper, which comes from trees, which means you're cutting down trees, and you're making something that can't be recycled. Congratulations. You wanted to help the environment, you hurt the environment. Can we please understand how strategy works? I think we should make it mandatory for all schools to have chess class, or at least checkers. Because this at least gives you a fundamental understanding of when you do a thing, something else can happen that might be bad, right? Let's look at the very basics of chess. For those that aren't familiar with how the chess rules work, don't worry, I'll make it simple. Let's say there's a piece, and you're like, oh man, if I move right in front of him, I'll be able to capture him next turn. Except when you do that, they capture you instead. That's what we're seeing here. It's like someone playing chess, but they're 3 years old and don't understand they just made a move and had their piece captured because they didn't understand the concept of a thing comes after the thing you do. And you know what else comes after this thing? Donald Trump sells recyclable straws. I cannot believe this is the timeline we are in. Okay, let me just stress. Donald Trump rolled out straws. They've sold out, and his straws are recyclable. I feel like, I was reading these stories, and I want you to imagine this because this is what I was imagining. I was imagining that it was November 9th, election day, I believe it was the 9th, all over again, and I'm sitting in this room, and I'm like, how did Trump win? And how do we get to this point where nothing makes sense and everything is insane? That McDonald's, trying to protect the environment, gets rid of a plastic straw that could be recycled in exchange for a paper straw, which can't be. Meanwhile, it's the Trump administration that is selling the recyclable straws, picking up the slack for what McDonald's screwed up, and they actually sold out. This seems like a joke. It doesn't seem like real life. So here's what I want you to imagine. I'm imagining this is what I saw in my head. I'm sitting in this office in D.C., and they're announcing the election when all of a sudden, I'm just imagining there's a mad scientist who triggered some kind of quantum device which pulses out and forced everyone into the mirror timeline where Donald Trump wins. And it's actually Trump and his plastic Trump-branded straws that are better for the environment than the environmentalist McDonald's straws they rolled out, which can't be recycled. How is everything backwards and upside down and inside out? Nothing makes sense. I gotta admit, it's kind of funny though. I mean, the way I see it is, plastic straws can be a problem. I understand that. But with McDonald's rolling out substantially more straws than Trump, at the very least we can say, okay, maybe Trump's straws are recyclable, but people won't recycle them. Oh well, McDonald's is doing worse. So it's like everything just got worse, but Trump made things a little bit not worse and kind of fixed the problem for McDonald's. What? Can someone please explain to me what happened in 2016 where like a massive solar flare hit an EMP and then the multiverse shifted and Donald Trump won and he wasn't supposed to and no one thought he would and he did, and now we're seeing story after story that, like, look, people say clown world for a reason. Let's read a little bit more. The government's ambitious plans combined with strong customer opinion has helped to accelerate the move away from plastic, and I'm proud that we've been able to play our part in helping to achieve this societal change, Paul Pomeroy, CEO of McDonald's UK and Ireland, said in a press release at the time. The plastic straws previously used could be recycled, but the British government has moved to ban plastic straws by 2020 and encourage chains to ditch the products. Then Environment Secretary Michael Gove congratulated McDonald's on making this significant contribution to help our natural environment when the initial move was made last year. I'm just imagining, just please imagine all of it's like, okay, do you watch Rick and Morty? If you don't watch Rick and Morty, you won't get the reference. But there's an episode where this character named Jerry puts on a helmet which creates an idealized version of his wife. So his wife has it on, and he comes to save her. So a bunch of like big buff guys come out because that's how she's seeing him as a savior. But then when he starts acting all bold and arrogant, a bunch of Jerrys come out, all start shaking each other's hands and patting each other on the back. That's what I'm imagining. So I apologize if you don't get the reference, but let me just give it to you in like a way you can imagine. A bunch of politicians smiling, signing papers and going, we've done something good. No, they didn't. It's completely backfired. They have now put out something damaging to the environment. Meanwhile, Trump, who's supposed to be Orange Man bad, defying the environmentalists by putting out plastic straws with his name on it, they're still recyclable. So they say, Brad Parscale had just boarded a JetBlue flight earlier this month when the paper straw he was using ripped in half. Not only are they not recyclable, they're terrible. Have you ever tried using these things? They melt. Like over time, like they absorb water and then turn into mush. As he tried to keep his iced tea from spilling onto his suit, the annoyed Trump campaign manager tweeted that he was so over paper straws. Prodded by his wife not to leave it at that, Parscale emailed his staff from the air with an idea. Let's sell plastic Trump straws. He's right. I gotta say, I think Brad is more in tune with how people feel than these big corporations and these journalists in their ivory towers. I hate paper straws. So he sold plastic straws and it worked. In short order, the campaign sent an email to supporters with the subject line, "Making straws great again." By the time Parscale landed in Florida, the presidential straws were already in production and an advertising campaign was up and running. The first batch sold out within hours. Let me tell you why this is so absurd. It was like a gag. He was making a joke about how paper straws were bad, and he sold a very silly product, Trump plastic straws, inadvertently creating a better situation for the environment. Look, I get it. These can't be recycled. Maybe plastic in the long run is still worse than the paper mush, but they're not recycling the paper mush. They're cutting down trees, using it up. I just don't understand it. I saw a meme once where it said, when we were younger, we were told to use plastic bags because paper bags were bad for causing deforestation. Now we're older and told not to use plastic bags because they pollute and to use paper bags, which still cause deforestation. Isn't it hard to be an environmentalist? I swear. So the straws sold out within hours. The ploy was part of a strategy to stoke and validate the grievances of Trump's base and then turn them into cash. The effort centers around novelty merchandise items the re-election campaign has been hawking on its website include pencil neck Adam Schiff t-shirts lampooning the Democratic congressman and Trump antagonist as a clown, I Spy Trump tees and tanks, depicting the commander-in-chief being snooped on by former President Barack Obama. And most recently, the plastic straws. The Trump 2020 online store has marketed the offering as an alternative to the more environmentally friendly liberal paper straws that don't work. No! See, here's the thing. They say the paper straws are environmentally friendly. They aren't. That's the inadvertent mistake. Straws are soggy, they don't work, and they can't be recycled. Trump accidentally did good. Environmentalists advocating for paper screwed everything up, and they can't be recycled. And now here we are, Trump getting the credit because you can recycle his straws. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I hope you enjoyed this random segment about Trump's plastic straws. I wanted to do something about the straws, but I just didn't think it was that big a deal. Like, I think it's funny. But then this news comes out from CNN about McDonald's straws not being recyclable, and I'm like, there you go. Now we are truly seeing the bizarro world reflection, and something insane is happening. The fabric of reality is breaking down. We're in a simulation. It's a comedy game. I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to 2019. Nothing makes sense. And stick around because I got one more segment coming up for you in a few minutes. Isn't it funny, though?